Hey kids, it's Papa. You're ready to explore the Bible? All right, good. Take your Bibles, turn with me to Acts chapter 8, and we're going to look at the first 4 verses today. Acts chapter 8, verses 1 through 4. Okay, you get there? All right, good. Hey, I enjoyed seeing you last night coming over there. Yeah, looking forward to lunch with JJ on Monday. He has no idea. Anyway, Acts chapter 8, verses 1 through 4. Now remember, Stephen has just died. He has been killed, and one of the perpetrators was Saul of Tarsus. Notice it says in verse 1, and Saul was consenting unto his death. And at that time there was great persecution against the church which was at Jerusalem. And they were all scattered abroad throughout the regions of Judea and Samaria, except the apostles. In other words, the apostles didn't. They stayed there in Jerusalem, but the rest of the disciples kind of went, and devout men carried Stephen to his burial and made great lamentation over him. As for Saul, he made havoc of the church, entering into every house and hailing men and women and committing them to prison. So, a bunch of things I want you to see here. First of all, why did God allow this to happen? Well, first of all, God does not control the ungodly. They are going to be ungodly, and they are going to do what they are going to do. Now, God is sovereign. Okay, and this is one of the strange things. If God is sovereign, in other words, if God makes all of the decisions, then if wicked people do wicked things, is God responsible for that? No. Wicked people do wicked things, and God has given us free will to make our own decisions, and yet somehow God is still sovereign. Now, it's a big topic. And there's a huge battle going on in fundamentalism about that, Is God sovereign, or does man have free will? Well, the Bible tells us that both are the truth. And people say, well, they can't both be true. Yes, they are. And the reason is because God is big and God is God. Okay? And so you might still ask, well, wait a minute, why did God allow that? Well, I'll tell you why God, I think, allowed that. And I think part of it is very simple. You see, Jesus had told them, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He had told them to go to Jerusalem, to Judea, to Samaria, to the uttermost part of the earth. He said, I want you to share the gospel where you are. I want you to share the gospel where you've been, Judea. I want you to share the gospel where you don't want to go, Samaria. And I want you to share the gospel in places where you can't imagine yourself going. All the world, okay? Kind of sounds like Myra and me, doesn't it? We kind of go all over. But the point is that they weren't doing it. They were just sitting there cloistered in Jerusalem. And you know what? It's great to have fellowship and it's great to build a church. But when you're ignoring what God has told you to do, no, they were to go into all the world and they weren't doing it. So God said, okay, well, we're just going to make things kind of hot right here for you and kind of spread you out. And it worked. They did. They went. Now, the apostles didn't go. And that's kind of a ding on their record. But the disciples did. But let's talk about Paul here, or Saul of Tarsus. He was going into houses and he was saying, are you a Christian? Are you a follower of that Jesus of Nazareth? If you are, we're going to throw you into prison. And they would say, well, I'm not going to deny Christ. Yes, I am a follower of Jesus. And he'd say, take him to prison. And they would go to prison. And they would not change their testimony just because they were going to go to prison if they told the truth. I sometimes wonder, if we were given that choice, what would we do? Would we just stand there quietly and say, yes, I am a follower of Christ? Or would we lie? And if we lied, would we really be a follower of Christ? Yeah, some good questions. Anyway, so I'm going to ask you some questions today, and I want you to give them some thought and answer them for me, okay? Hey, love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.